Imagine a world more real than this one, not of flesh nor of stone, but of eternal truth. Everything you see, trees, rivers, stars, even thoughts, are shadows, reflections of something far more perfect and timeless. This is not fiction. It is not fantasy. This is Platonism, one of the most profound and enduring philosophical visions in human history. Platonism began in ancient Athens, but its echoes stretch across centuries through medieval monasteries, mystical texts, and modern spirituality. Its ideas formed the foundation of metaphysics, inspired entire philosophical systems, and became the core of mystical traditions. In this journey, we'll uncover the origins of Platonism, its visionary metaphysics, essential texts like the Timeus, and its influence across civilizations. The mind of Plato lit a fire that has never truly gone out. This is a path of thought, but also of transformation. A journey not just through history, but through reality itself. The birth of Platonism. Platonism begins with Plato, born around 427 BCE in Athens. A student of Socrates, Plato expanded the ethical questioning of his teacher into an entire worldview. In his vision, the physical world, the world of touch and sight, is not the ultimate reality. It is a copy, an echo of a deeper, invisible world. This invisible world is the world of forms or ideas, perfect, eternal realities that lie behind everything we see. The form of a circle, for example, exists beyond time and space, flawless and complete. Every drawn circle merely imitates it. Everything we see is a reflection of something greater. A piece of music is more than sound. It echoes the eternal harmony behind all things. A just action reveals a spark of perfect justice, hinting at a truth beyond this world. These forms do not change. They do not decay. They are the unchanging blueprints of all that exists. They are more real than anything experienced through the senses. This is the theory of forms, the central pillar of Platonism. True knowledge comes not from observation, but from remembering the forms. For Plato, learning is not discovery, but recollection, a soul remembering what it once knew. Through deep knowledge, philosophy, and contemplation, those memories can be awakened. Timeus and the Cosmic Order. Among Plato's many works, the Timeus stands out as his most cosmic and mystical. In this dialogue, Plato describes the creation of the universe by a divine craftsman known as the Demiurge. The Demiurge does not create the world from nothing, but imposes order onto chaos, using the eternal forms as a model. The material world is imperfect, shaped from disorderly matter. But the Demiurge, being good, desires the best possible world and shapes it with beauty and harmony. From this divine act, time itself is born. The heavens, the stars, and the planets are not just physical objects. They are living, divine beings, whose ordered motion reflects eternal truths. The universe is not inert. It is alive. It breathes with a soul, a world soul, woven from proportion, harmony, and divine thought. Human souls, too, are made from this same divine substance. However, once joined to the body, the soul forgets its origins. The goal becomes clear: to live in harmony with the cosmos, to recollect the soul's divine source, and to ascend from the realm of appearances to the eternal. The Timeus is not just metaphysical, it is sacred cosmology, revealing a universe infused with structure, order, and meaning. The ascent from the world of appearances to the world of truth is the spiritual path described throughout Plato's writings. In the Republic, Plato presents the allegory of the cave. Prisoners are trapped in darkness, watching shadows on a wall. For them, the shadows are all that exists. One prisoner breaks free, and discovers the world outside the cave, where the sun shines and true reality is revealed. The sun represents the form of the good, the source of all truth, order, and existence. The freed prisoner becomes the philosopher whose task is to guide others from illusion toward enlightenment. This allegory encapsulates the core of Platonism. The soul must turn away from the fleeting and the visible and rise toward the eternal and invisible. For Plato, philosophy is not merely a body of knowledge. It is a way of life, a discipline that purifies the soul and restores its original vision. In the Symposium, Plato presents love as a divine ladder. The lover begins with physical beauty, then ascends toward the beauty of souls, then to the beauty of laws and knowledge, and finally reaches the love of beauty itself, the eternal form. Platonism is a ladder of reason, of remembrance, leading the soul back to its home among the stars. From Plato to Plotinus and beyond. After Plato's death, his school, the Academy, continued for centuries. But his philosophy did not remain frozen. It evolved and expanded into what would later be known as Neoplatonism. In the 3rd century CE, the philosopher Plotinus gave new shape to Plato's vision. For Plotinus, all existence flows from the One, a transcendent source beyond being, beyond thought, beyond form. From the One emanates the divine mind, which contains all the forms. From the mind comes the world soul, and from the soul unfolds the material world. This metaphysical cascade, one, mind, soul, world, presents reality as a single flowing unity. A great return, always in motion, always yearning toward its source. Plotinus emphasized that the soul's journey is not only philosophical, it is mystical. Through inner purification, contemplation, and self-transcendence, the soul can rise through the levels of being and reunite with its divine origin. Platonism deeply influenced early Christian thought. Thinkers like St. Augustine adopted its metaphysics, viewing God as the ultimate form of the good. The soul's yearning for God mirrored the Platonic longing for the forms. In Jewish philosophy, figures like Philo of Alexandria, writing in Greek, speaking Egypt, interpreted the Hebrew scriptures through a Platonic lens. The Logos, the divine reason, was seen as an intermediary between God and the world. During the Middle Ages, Platonism flourished in monasteries, courts, and universities. In the Renaissance, thinkers like Marsilio Ficino and Pico della Mirandola saw Platonism as a sacred path of wisdom. They translated and revived Plato's works, blending them with Hermeticism and Christian mysticism. We'll be exploring Neoplatonism in much greater depth in an upcoming video. So if this divine hierarchy and the soul's mystical return to the One interests you, make sure you're subscribed. And don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss it. Platonism as mysticism. Symbols, emanations, and the path of return. Over time, Platonism did not disappear, it transformed. Its metaphysical ideas became the foundation of mystical systems. The soul's ascent, the vision of hidden realities, and the belief in a divine structure behind the material world all found new expression. In Christian mysticism, the writings of Pseudo-Dionysius described a path of purification, illumination, and union, directly inspired by Neoplatonic models of return to the One. Symbols, sacraments, and visions became bridges between the visible and the invisible. The world was seen as a sacramental reflection, a symbolic text pointing to the divine. In Jewish mysticism, Platonism reached new heights in the tradition of Kabbalah. The Ein Sof, the infinite, lies beyond all names, all thought, just like the Platonic one. From the Ein Sof flow the Sephirot, 10 emanations that structure all of existence. This divine tree of life is both cosmic and personal. The soul, through mystical practice, ascends through these levels and returns to the divine root. The connections between Platonism and Kabbalah are as deep as they are fascinating. We'll be dedicating a full episode to unravel them, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Even in Sufism, echoes of Platonism remain: the soul's exile and return, the idea that love leads to union, and the view that the material world is a veil to be lifted. Platonism had become a spiritual language. Its metaphysical truths became mystical practices. Platonism and the secret societies. From a Renaissance onward, secret societies and esoteric schools began to cloak themselves in the language and structure of Platonism. They weren't simply interested in Plato's logical arguments. They saw in his metaphysics a sacred map of reality. Societies such as the Freemasons, Rosicrucians, Theosophists, and Hermetic orders took the Platonic vision of invisible truths and structured their entire systems around it. The Freemasons, for instance, deeply embedded Platonic symbolism into their degrees of initiation. Their entire ritual structure mirrors the Platonic ascent, from the base level of the apprentice, who dwells in shadow, to the master mason, who sees the inner light. The Platonic idea of the form of the good, that which illuminates all understanding, is reflected in the Masonic great architect of the universe, a supreme order behind all creation. Their temples are filled with geometric symbols, squares, compasses, pillars, evoking the mathematical harmony described in Plato's Timeus, where the universe is created with number and proportion. The Rosicrucians, emerging in the early 17th century, were even more explicit. Their manifestos spoke of secret wisdom, hidden since ancient times, often referencing Pythagoras, Plato, and Egyptian priests as guardians of divine truth. They believed in a cosmic order that could be unveiled through contemplation, study, and inner purification, direct echoes of the Platonic path of the soul's ascent through philosophy. In the 19th and 20th centuries, theosophical thinkers like Helena Blavatsky drew heavily from Neoplatonism, particularly the works of Plotinus and Proclus. Theosophy described a multi-layered universe of planes and emanations, almost identical to the Platonic and Neoplatonic structure. The absolute from which emerges the logos, and finally, the manifested worlds. Blavatsky claimed this knowledge was preserved by initiates in Tibet and India, but its philosophical backbone was unmistakably Platonic. Even modern spiritual movements and psychological models retain these influences. Carl Jung, for example, was profoundly shaped by Platonic and Neoplatonic ideas. His concept of the archetypes, universal patterns embedded in the collective unconscious, can be seen as a modern psychological version of the Platonic forms. His idea that individuation is the process of reconciling the ego with these deeper patterns mirrors Plato's call for the soul to remember and realign with higher realities. Mystical power and the hidden elite. Today, in elite think tanks, esoteric spiritual retreats, and private lodges, this Platonic thread continues, quietly but powerfully. Some high-level Masonic rites, particularly within Scottish Rite Masonry, still contain teachings on the soul's ascent, sacred geometry, and cosmic harmony that derive directly from Middle Platonic and Neoplatonic thought. In occult revival movements, from Golden Dawn-style magical orders to New Age mystery schools, initiates speak of hidden realms, universal archetypes, and enlightenment through inner vision, all fundamentally Platonic in structure. Even the language of tech elites, transhumanists, and postmodern mystics sometimes echoes Plato. concepts like the simulation hypothesis, suggesting our world is a mere projection of a deeper reality. The pursuit of ideal forms in digital space, or the belief in transcending the material body, all have surprisingly Platonic undertones. The idea that this world is not the real world has never fully gone away. It has simply changed symbols. Platonism, with its invisible hierarchies and vision of a soul striving toward the divine, has always appealed to those seeking hidden knowledge, sacred structure, and transformation beyond the surface of things. To many of these groups, it was never just philosophy, it was initiation. The eternal flame. Platonism revealed that behind every symbol, system, and sacred story lies a deeper structure, one that points beyond the visible world to something timeless, eternal, and hidden in plain sight. The world of the senses, the changing, the fleeting, is not the final stage. It is a screen, a surface. Behind it lies a reality more refined, more luminous, more true. This wasn't just a philosophy. It was a map of return, a sacred cartography for the soul. Plato described a cosmos shaped by harmony, guided by reason, suffused with meaning. Not random, not blind, but alive, intelligent, and ordered. He saw the soul not as an accident of flesh, but as a divine exile, longing for what it once knew, the good, the beautiful, the true. For the mystics, sages, and secret societies that followed in his path, this became the foundation of initiation, the great chain of being, the soul's ascent through purification, knowledge, and love. The rediscovery of our divine origin, the reawakening of a higher memory. This vision flowed underground, through temples, manuscripts, lodges, and rituals. It was preserved not just in texts, but in architecture, music, sacred geometry, and silence. It was hidden, in plain sight for those with the eyes to see. From the Eleusinian mysteries to the Hermetic revival, from the cathedrals of medieval Europe to the secret symbols of the Renaissance, from the Scottish Rite to the Tarot, from alchemical emblems to cosmic algorithms, the Platonic fire continued to burn. Even today, it flickers. In elite circles, where geometry is sacred and metaphysics is strategy, in think tanks and retreats, where ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge science, in the private language of tech visionaries who whisper of simulation theory, ideal archetypes, and digital transcendence. All of it echoes Plato, the idea that this world is a copy, that we are living inside an imitation of something more real, that the material is a veil, and that behind that veil is structure, pattern, order, the divine.